Hello, my beautiful soul tribe. Thank you so much for joining this video session with me. Today, I think we would like to talk a little bit about the journey of healing and the important concept of forgiveness. In my spiritual counseling sessions, I've encountered many clients who really needed healing and who really needed to let go of something that wounded them in the past. Thus, they came to me and they ask for a reading, or they want to know how to enhance their life. One of the things about healing to me is that we are truly forgiving our past. And generally speaking, I think this involves two different aspects. First of all, you have forgiven yourself for making that choice in the past. Sometimes a past trauma was actually caused by a personal choice. For example, if you have been in a difficult relationship and you have seen the red flags for a long time, but you refused to let go, to walk away from that. And eventually, right, to the point that you couldn't take it anymore. And that led to either the separation or some kind of right traumatic experience, emotionally or maybe even physically, that you experienced. Um, this has a lot to do with what we have learned, right, from that experience and what can we heal from that and how we make the right choices for us in the future, right, in the next relationship. Um, Sometimes, however, the experience that we had was not really our personal choice. Maybe we were not even given a choice. Now, an example I can give to you is that, for example, if you have been wounded in a family, let's say when you were a child could not choose what family they were born in. We were born into that family, and we had to deal with the type of parents and the type of sibling relationships that we were given. And for example, if someone is born in a family where the mother is a drug addict, right, and the father was, not taking his responsibility as a father in the family and was physically abusive to the child, it was not the child's fault. And when the child grows up into adulthood, there was that wound, let's say, right, from our childhood. And if we ask ourselves, what did we learn from that experience? We might say, what did I do wrong, right? I was a victim in that relationship. Or this could even happen when you are dealing with maybe a coworker. Maybe you have done everything you could to prevent things from happening, but still, some people, because of their lacking moral standard, or because they are not being considerate, thus their behavior hurt you feelings. A friend who betrayed you, their behavior hurt your feelings, even though you have been really treating them sincerely, nicely, and wholeheartedly. When it comes to the concept of healing, right, it's all about, first of all, can you forgive yourself first? Now, in the first scenario that I gave to you, that part has a lot to do with your own choice. But in the second part, like what I said, maybe about an early childhood memory, or this could be about you really believing that you have done everything you could, but still, um, they hurt you. They did it on purpose, right? And they were just, there was nothing that you could have done, right, to change the situation. Then the forgiveness is not just about forgiving your past, but it's about, can you forgive them? Now, the first question that I tend to receive from my clients is that they don't deserve forgiveness. They did everything on purpose. They were aware of that. They were trying to take advantage of me. They don't deserve the forgiveness. And what we do in that situation is we carry that sense of, for example, resentment or that sense of injustice, right, into the future. Now, the dangerous thing about that part is that I agree with you. A lot of them don't deserve forgiveness. They hurt your feelings without an apology and they just run away. All right. That happens. It happens to you. It happens to a lot of clients. It also has happened to me. There are usually two different possibilities why someone would hurt you and run away without apologizing. Now, the first scenario is that deep down, they are evil. They on purpose hurt you and they want you to live with that hurt for the rest of your life. But that scenario is rather rare. Most of the situations I have seen and encountered is that they actually feel guilty. They knew that what they did was hurtful. And the reason why they would run away from that without apologizing is because they have no guts to admit it to your face. They have no guts to come to the front of you, looking at your face and say, I'm sorry for what I did. That was not okay. That was wrong. All right. Now, usually for people who actually would do that, who would come to you and apologize to your face, is usually because they still want a relationship with you. It's usually because they want to fix something there, right? That's why they will change their behavior. They will offer an apology, hoping that you will accept their apology and rebuild this dynamic, this relationship together. Now, so you might be asking, so what does that mean if they run away from me without an apology and they just disappear? Well, very simple. It means that they have no desire to be in your life anymore. So whether they offer an apology or not is no longer significant. Now, this also applies to a different scenario because this is, you can tell, yeah, if someone's only concern is whether you can accept their apology and rebuild the relationship with them or not, it means that they don't really care about their own conscience. Because usually, to me, right, when I apologize to someone, it's not about whether we can still be friends or whether we can still be, lovers or we can still be have a great relationship with each other. It's more because I feel I am being, I cannot be in line with my own sense of conscience. So whether you accept that or not, it doesn't matter. I will still offer my apology because I feel bad, because I feel that was not a fair deal without an apology. Now, for you, the one who is receiving or who is not receiving the apology, what you need to do in this situation is that even if you cannot forgive them, you should still take the apology and then you walk away. And the reason is because it's actually quite simple. You don't accept apology because they deserve it. You accept the apology because you deserve it. And I hope that makes sense to you. Only by accepting that you will be able to have a closure with your past and you can walk into the future and focus on that future instead of always feeling that they owe me an apology. Specifically, let's say if they don't apologize, they don't come to you and say, I hurt your feelings, I wounded you, I did that to you, and I was not supposed to do that. Even without all these kind of, acknowledgement from their side, you still need to tell yourself that I forgive them and I'm happy to move forward with my life. And I realize that it is so important where we are trying to manifest something amazing in our future. At the end of the day, you cannot keep feeling this way about someone when you're trying to manifest beautiful things. And I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart because sometimes these kind of things can be very toxic to the point that you might be having an amazing day and sometimes something might trigger that all the memories back and suddenly your mood just changes, right, from feeling very happy, very fine, right, with everything to why did they do that to me? That was not fair. Okay, things like that. So we're not doing this to forgive them. We're doing this so that we can find our own peace in our own lives. And one of the most difficult challenges I realized that my clients have is that they feel it's unfair, right? They feel like, okay, but if I really let this go, but where is the sense of justice, right? It's a little bit like, let's say, even with things happening in the courthouse, right? You will want the justice system to give you justice. If the criminal runs away with what we did, what they did to us, we would feel, but where is justice? And that's not fair. Now, this is my uh, thoughts, right, about this. Um, the so-called justice, or they will be punished for what they did to you, really has nothing to do with us. At the end of the day, there is a cosmic regularity out there. And specifically, I've studied, of course, Western astrology for over 10 years. And I've been also been really interested in learning about I Ching and the Chinese metaphysical studies. And what I realized about these type of spiritual studies across the globe, right? No matter in whatever culture it is, there's always going to be that ups and downs in anyone's life. All right. Nobody, absolutely nobody will be able to maintain their high position throughout their life. There's going to be 10 years, specifically, I think we talked about the 10-year lock, right? In the previous video. Someone might just flying high for 10 years, and then the 10-year cycle changes. They might come down, right? And they might have to face whatever consequences, the seeds that they planted in the past. For example, if they have been super arrogant, then the luck will change, right? And then there will be coming a time when they have to really, um, you know, uh, let's say, lower their expectations or ego, right? And to apologize and to admit to the fact that actually everyone goes through ups and downs, and everyone has their highs and everyone has their lows. So I guess my point is punishing them and seeing them um, giving you back that sense of justice is really not really our job. It's the job of the universe. And just know that what you need to do is to focus on your journey. You are not competing with them. A flower does not need to compete with all the other flowers around it in order to bloom. You bloom the way you want anyway. All right. Don't look left and look right and thinking, but they did this to me. How come now they are, for example, getting married happily, right? They don't deserve it. Oh, they hurt my feelings. How come they are having such a great time now without any receiving any type of punishment? They will have their time, but that's not your concern. And that's not something you should be bothered when you are trying to create your own sense of abundance. Now, um, actually, these types of people who hurt us and who ran away without an apology, who left a scar in your heart, I would say at the end of the day, they're not that common. You might have one or two, maximum maybe three people, right? Who would do that. Specifically if you have been given them a lot of trust. But also at the same time, for a lot of people who hurt us without even noticing that they hurt us and try to give them the empathy they also um, deserve. And the reason is because at the end of the day, they behave in a certain way. It's also because of their own cultural background. They were raised in a certain way, they were taught in a certain way, and they were treated by a lot of people in a certain way. And sometimes it's also because subconsciously they just assume that that's something normal to do without knowing that they have somehow either offended you or um, they have crossed a line, right? Because maybe you are a very principled person, or you're also quite sensitive towards these kind of things. All right, it's just a very quick video today, right? I want to talk about the sense of forgiveness and how do we do our healings. One last advice I have for you guys is that if you really feel there's a lot of unresolved anger in you and resentment, writing journals could be very, very helpful. And if you really just need to get it out there and, just say something, right? And you don't have an opportunity to say to them because they have run away, they have disappeared, write it down in your journal. And if you have the time after writing it, wait for a day or two and you go back to that journal, you read what you have written again. This is going to be a very magical and healing process for you. Thank you so much, my beautiful soul tribe. I wish you a wonderful week ahead, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next pick a card reading. Have a wonderful day. See you later.